We are live. Hey guys, hope everyone is doing really well. We are still organizing ourselves. It's been a busy day. Got our tea. If you're watching the replay of this live as well, we will do our best to add in some chapters to make it easier to navigate around, because I know trying to sift through like an hour or so of chatting can be a bit overwhelming. So hopefully that'll make it easier.
So what we're planning on talking about today is everything that's happened since the last live, but which we've just been crazy busy. But we're going to be talking about the bus. We've got updates on the bus.
Massive updates about the bus, guys.
Yeah, really big.
Huge.
Big news.
Don't want to spoil it yet.
That's boiling hot, by the way. Be careful.
That's right.
Yes. So also animals. We're going to be talking about what's been happening in the last month, as well as what we're planning in the near future. We are getting closer to springtime, which is really exciting. Garden and animal husbandry plans alike. So yeah, the next 6 months for us is just going to be crazy. But you know, it's going to be cool to look back on these chats as they go by.
Massive. And as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to jot them in the chat. I can see my best buddy from high school, Tiff, is here. Hey, Tiff.
Oh, hey, Tiff.
That's a nice surprise. I can see Lisa, Joe, Annie. We've got Sarah, Penny as well. Hello from Queensland. Penny, every time you comment or message, I think you're one of our aunties, because we have an auntie called Penny. So it warms my heart. It feels like you're already family. We got Alan here. Wow, heaps of people here, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Straight out of the gate. Thanks for popping in, guys. We really appreciate it.
Judy.
Yeah. If we miss anyone's comments, you know, we're gonna do our best. But like, if you're here, we appreciate you. So
definitely. And also, if you do have any questions, I'm not sure if I said it, try to put some question marks like somewhere in an obvious place, like maybe at the beginning or like a bunch of them at the end. It just makes it easier for us to catch them. And then if we're scrolling back and trying to answer some, it's a lot easier to see than just if they're the comments, because you guys, as always, just absolutely light up the comments. Hello, Kat and Justin. Always awesome to see so many amazing people. It's so heartwarming.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for popping in.
We're just giving it a couple of minutes for people to roll in so that we don't start giving you guys all the exciting, juicy things before everyone's really here.
Well, but the puppies are playing right where, guys, come here. Come on. We're not playing now. All right, come on.
Sarah, that is so exciting. For those that don't know, it's Plastic Free July, and I absolutely am a massive believer in the message that it spreads out. I've been doing some extra videos on Instagram, on YouTube. I take this month as an opportunity to reflect on what we've been doing, and I've said that before. I feel like a broken record sometimes, but I really truly take this month to like reflect on what we've done and then take steps forward into the future. So a lot of the time I won't switch a lot of things in our life except for July, and then I'll see what sticks throughout the year. So it's really cool to have gone on a whole year's journey and now be able to go to the next thing.
Well, when Di first pitched Plastic Free July to me, it was just like one of these things, and I was like, oh cool, that's just like, it's like November, it's like it'd be a cool thing to do, you know, like whatever. And then last year she just went so all out with it. We really did have things that just stuck with us for the year, and then it's been a year, and then it's like the July is like a reminder that like, oh yeah, look what's already kind of changed. And then it makes it kind of easier to change the next things. And as someone who's like the passive changer, you know, like Diane's always the first one out of the gate, it's it's really nice to see that routine. So I definitely encourage you guys to get on the Plastic Free July, because it's a good marker. It's right in the middle of the year, and it's like, all right, you know, like what stuck, what didn't, you know, what do we feel like we want to change? What's irking me, you know? Cool.
Annie, we do have a PO box. We actually live in a rural location, so we don't have a post box, like we don't have a mailing address, so we only have a PO box, which I leave down in the description of every one of our videos. I do have to give a huge shout out. We actually got 2 letters from you guys, and they're so lovely to read. Like, just there's absolutely nothing better than a handwritten letter. So massive thank you. We keep them, we treasure them. I actually got some seeds sent to me from Dubbo.
Awesome.
I believe, yeah. And they're seeds from a late father who's passed away, and they're pumpkin seeds. So we're actually going to get to it, like his memory will live on not only in Dubbo and his home garden, but
His
also
legacy,
here. Yeah, that's really cool.
So cool. It's like, it's far enough away that it's a different climate too. So they're like heirloom from a different place, and it's going to be interesting to see how they thrive where we are, because it's a little bit, you know, wetter here. Yeah, it'll be interesting, but it does get dry. Definitely droughts here.
Let me also introduce you guys. Speaking of Joe's sister's new puppy, congrats to her. Or is she getting it this Friday coming? But you guys may have seen in our last video that we have added a new playmate to the family. Sam's gotten himself a little puppy, and we're looking forward to letting you know a bit about him.
Come on,
Ty, come on.
Well,
Eris, come
fetch
here.
him.
Come here. He may or may not come over.
He's like,
yeah, he's coming over. He's
so
a bit
chill.
shy.
I ran him out today. Like, real.
There he comes.
Come on.
He's a bit dark, so
yeah,
we'll have to show him in the light.
We didn't think about that in you'll see him in the daylight on camera.
I'll light him up with my phone for you guys.
But man, he's adorable. Like this
like
guy
a little
right
Batman.
here. Yeah. This guy right here, he was
That
a
has
monster
no
as a
effect.
puppy. Like he ripped apart my swag. Like a double swag, just all over the backyard. This guy's just been a delight so far. Completely chilled. It's like we got all of the puppy madness out of the way with Eris, and then, you know, it was just our turn to get a chilled out puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe's it's kind of like good for Kobe, because now Eris isn't harassing him all the time. He's got the opportunity to really just like step into old man world.
Hello, Kathy. Yes, poor Kobe indeed, but if anything, yeah, that's right. He gets to relax, gets to chill, and Eris can harass a little puppy instead. It's so funny though to see Ty get in Eris's face and like annoy him and like,
it's like
want to play.
Medicine, revenge.
We're like, ha ha ha, take that, Eris.
Have you guys ever tried grafting before? Oh, he can't. He's struggling to get on the couch. No, because we haven't had the opportunity to grow fruiting trees to an age where we can start doing that kind of stuff. So like the only trees, like this is the longest we've ever been on a property where we could plant, and we did immediately. And we're only about a year into that. So that's definitely a weak zone for us. But something that in the future we can look forward to, because absolutely we want to learn to graft. We want to learn to
make plants from other plants that we already have and save money. I have actually been experimenting with propagating in different ways though. We do have a lot of plants around that we have gotten from cuttings that I just put into water and I sprout roots that way. But I've also been experimenting outside with taking like the shrubs like rosemary, oregano, and some of my natives. I've started to lower some of their stems down to the ground, onto the soil, and then put a rock onto it. And I'm hoping that's going to encourage some roots down the bottom. So that's been an experiment, which honestly I started like a few weeks ago and forgot about with all the craziness. So I'll have to head down to the food forest and see if that's actually worked or not, because I reckon that would have been pretty cool. Yeah.
Stone fruit seeds, absolutely. Like we'd be more than happy to try and propagate some fruit trees.
Yeah, is Dozer potentially a Kelpie? Because Ty has Kelpie and Border Collie in him, so the colouring is from that.
Yeah, his fur's really nice because it's like it's got the Border Collie softness, but it's like he's more Kelpie than Border Collie.
Yeah.
All right.
Love peach trees. We actually have a nectarine tree, a cherry tree, and 2 apricot trees, which we planted last season in autumn. So fingers crossed, come this summertime, we'll have some stone fruit come from them. That'll be really awesome.
Oh yeah, that's really definitely something we're looking forward to.
Yes. All right,
Cool.
let's get into the big juicy things. I can't
Big
remember where
news.
I put big juicy things. Speaking of
Thinking
which,
of peaches and Cool.
what should we talk about first? Let's light up the comments. Let's get you all involved in the conversation. What would you like us to talk about first? Bus, new animals, or the plans for the springtime? Is that all we said we were talking about? Like the three main things?
Well, we'll talk about that a bit later on because we'll talk about how the last month has been and then what we're planning on doing for the next, like, because we're going into spring. Are we? Yeah.
Yeah. Winter,
Yeah, we're
spring.
heading in
Because
like,
you
out of
spring
winter,
into summer. That's how I tell my kids. I say opposites never touch. So summer and winter never touch, and then you spring into summer.
No, I mean, like, what month's the next month?
All right. Yeah. We still have a month of winter.
Yeah.
So bus, new animals,
Bus.
or the future gardens and homestead plans for springtime. All right. I'm seeing 2 for bus, 2 for animals, 1 for plants. So I'm guessing that's spring. All of the above. That's 1 vote
right.
for all.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just.
Does bus count as 3?
Yeah, I guess so. Let's talk about the bus, and then we'll
I think
talk
that's
about
the majority
homestead.
rule for now.
Yeah, because I think it'll be a nice segue. We'll move to the animals, and that'll be a nice segue into the garden and what we're planning on doing.
Yeah.
Guys, so the bus is... Where's the bus, Di?
The bus is in our backyard.
The bus is here.
We actually got it a couple of days ago, which I did update some of you guys on Instagram. So if you follow us on Instagram, you've already seen some sneak peeks of it. But I've been trying to keep it a little bit stealthy. If you follow us on Buy Me a Coffee, if you've donated to us, I think I have put up a clip of Sam actually driving the bus, which what was that like? I'm going to let the dogs out to pee.
Okay.
You let them know how you went.
Hey, that's good. A puppy that tells you he's going to the toilet. It's really nice. Cool. So it's been a crazy couple of weeks, but essentially what happened was we'd organized someone to drive the bus for us. And then as we were planning it, I was like, I can't let this happen. I can't let someone else drive our home for the first time to where we're going to be working on it. And like, I'd spend the next 6 months just like worrying about the fact that I was going to be learning to drive a bus without everything that we cared about on board. And yeah, so I just made the call. I was going to get the license and I was going to drive it down. And I had a good solid 6-hour session driving it. But yeah, like it wasn't like, I didn't have to drive in the dead center of the city. And like, once we picked up the bus, it was just south of Sydney. So it was straight onto freeways. So I had like a couple of hours of driving, you know, just getting used to the feel of it. Like we're talking 12.5 meters, guys. Like, and
Hold on.
What?
This is a live. This is like the juicy stuff, right, guys? So you want the juicy side, right? That doesn't come up on the video? I think they do. What happened the moment you pulled out of the streets?
All right, so immediately I nearly got into a car accident.
Yeah.
So anybody who's driven a truck or a large bus will understand. But essentially what happened is that when I learned to drive in the truck, which is about 7 meters, I got used to the turning circle and got an idea of how much clearance I would have. But essentially I came to a T intersection and I was turning left and I gave myself plenty of space because it was a residential area. I didn't want to cut the corner and mount the curb and like start damaging things. And I started turning and I was like, cool, I'm about 70% into how sharp I want to turn. And then I locked and I was like, oh, that's all I've got. Like the turning circle was like 30% less than the truck I was in. So I was just swinging straight onto the opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
And I was completely clear to my the traffic flow I was moving into, but there was definitely a car coming.
It was a red car. I think I actually did catch it on video because like I thought you had stalled. I thought you had like gone into the wrong gear because I was right behind you and I was like, oh my God.
Yep. And so I came onto the opposite side of the road and like it was just all reaction time and I slammed the brakes on the opposite side of the road and I just had to let that car avoid me. And then I was like, all right, cool. Well, that's the near miss out of the way. That's done and dusted. It's all smooth sailing from here, and it was.
Yeah, it was. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It was really exciting to have Sam drive the bus as opposed to have someone else drive it, because it took away that like time pressure that you might have if someone else is driving the bus. So it meant that we could stop as often as we wanted. It meant that we could record videos. Sam could just relax instead of thinking about someone else driving and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was definitely scary though. And to answer your question from before, Sarah, the intention with the bus is definitely to buy land for it in the future. So it's our way to stay ahead of the market, because at the moment we can't buy our own home. So we thought instead of sitting like ducks and waiting for something to happen, we might as well get started, build a home for ourselves that suits everything we need, cut down our rental costs. We've already had several neighbors and friends say that we can use their property if we need. We have our landlord wanting to subdivide for us if it makes it more affordable. Like, we've got lots of options, but nothing that quite suits yet. And by having a home already built, we take away that pressure of like, what might happen if the landlord ever does want to sell? Well, now it's not going to matter because we can pack everything into that bus and drive away. But yeah, the intention is for it to be our home at the end. It's,
buses can be up to 14. These ones to work with, the ones to steerable.
Yeah, this bus is huge. Our bus is 12 meters. Did you say that?
12.2 meters is our bus. So the 14.5, you need a heavy rigid license, and it just, that expense to get that license straight out the gate, plus like the chance that I wouldn't succeed, like it's extra 2 meters, like it's just a lot. That's all just backswing. So we decided that we're going to sacrifice those 2 meters and make ourselves a little bit more transportable, because the other thing is that if you want to stay somewhere, you've got a whole 2 extra meters to deal with in like a caravan park and stuff like that, whereas a lot of people will accept 12 meters.
Hello from Germany, Barhoff.
Oh, wow,
I hope I've said your name right. I wonder what time it is over there. Yeah, Sam and I are all about good planning. We also really want to think about the idea of having a deck at the back. We have a few plans for the back, which I don't want to reveal just yet. But if you really think about it, there's something back there that is just, it has to be there. So that's something we're thinking about. And so having those extra couple of meters at the back there is going to be fantastic. Yeah,
and that's it. I didn't know that, Joe. Registration for 14 you can't use for an RV. I honestly thought you could. But I was doing that research after we'd already decided we were going to go with 12.2. So I was certain we could do what we wanted to do with our bus. So
Alan, I am most likely not going to learn to drive the bus. I'm only because it's also a manual. So not only did Sam go and buy us a bus, but he's also bought us a manual bus, which means that if I'm trying to learn to drive this gigantic monster of a thing on the road, I'm also having to worry about this like gigantic, I keep saying gigantic, I need to come up with more synonyms, but this huge, like, what's that called?
Gear stick.
Sweeper thing? Yeah, the gear stick.
or a shift if you're American.
Yeah, so for now, I think I'll just let Sam do the hard yards. We're only really planning on going on one really big trip with the bus towards the end. Think of it as like a great Australian farm tour. If you watch Justin Rhodes, then you know what I mean. And then it'll be our home. So there's not too much learning that I have to do with it. Out of curiosity, though, I might get my learner's license just so Sam can teach me and I can get a feel on like the big, long, open roads. But as far as like taking it in the city or anything like that, just freaks me out.
Yeah, like, plus it's also another cost, like, because licensing both of us is going to chunk into the budget. and we'd much rather have that $1,000, which is how much it pretty much cost me to get my license, is just going to be more valuable when you're building out a home for sure.
Yeah, and we definitely have a video on the bus coming up. It's
don't you worry.
We're kind of behind with the videos. It's been really busy. Sam's been away. Whenever I go on school holidays, I film like a mad woman. I honestly don't give myself a break from school. So there's heaps of videos in the lineups, and the bus is definitely one of them. We're actually so keen for the bus that this is what we parked it up yesterday. And today we were already out there demoing it. So heaps of stuff coming up on the bus very soon. So definitely stick around for that one, guys. And Lisa, we are highly considering woofers. So
absolutely. While we're on this property, it's a bit complicated because we're renting.
Yeah, it's not ours.
But like woofing is definitely something that we want to do and have going in the future. But we just don't know what that will. We just don't really know what that's going to look like going forward. So, once we build it out, we might have family members come and like just help us with finances so that we can make a full transition into homesteading.
Yeah.
Because it would be closer lining up with our dreams to spend more time at home, but also be supporting someone else than to have to leave the property to pay for a high level of rent.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I hope so, Kathy. If you allow us to come over and see your homestead, I'm sure in a year or two's time when that bus is done, you guys are going to be absolutely thriving there. And for Sarah, what is woofing?
So that's essentially a labor for accommodation trade.
World Organic Organization of Farmers or something like that. I can't remember what the acronym stands for. But it's essentially anyone can be a woofer.
Yeah, it's labor for accommodation trade, or for board, whatever you agree on. So like I might put out an offer. I've got a bedroom. I'm offering 5 meals a week, yada yada, and I'm looking for 10 hours of labor a week, and then you have people come and stay and they do that. But it can range.
Let me look up the actual name. But yeah, anyone can do it. And it's essentially you go and stay on a farm, you work and you help out. They feed you and they give you accommodation. So it's a really good, cheap way to travel around different countries. It's something we were considering doing for a while as well before we came up here to New South Wales. So we were thinking, do we go live overseas for a year or do we start homesteading straight away? And if we were to go overseas, that may have been something that we got into.
Yeah. Still might be. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. But I'd love to have extra helping hands and just the company of having other people here to help out. Like I think I do really well working on my own, but I do enjoy working with others, and Sam thrives when other people are there.
I definitely work a lot better when other people are around. I give myself too many excuses when I'm just by myself and I end up doing 100 different things half. You might have noticed that about me. But I'm one thing I can say about the bus, guys, is we're like so excited. We got it parked up, and when we parked it up and we saw where we were going to be working on it, we just it kind of hit home that we were standing in our future home, and we came in and we were measuring stuff all through the house.
Oh my god, we were exhausted and we moved all our island. We started moving that to imagine what the kitchen would look like, and we started measuring the couch and the bed and the bus.
So we've already got a layout completely AutoCAD'd as well. So we've got draft 1 for how the layout's
Lynn
gonna
and
be.
Wayne. Sorry to interrupt you.
But the other thing is that when we went with the bus, it was purely financial. We were tossing up between tiny home, we were looking at a yurt for a long time. We went with the bus because it was actually the cheapest option to get a floor, walls, and roof. Because we bought the bus for $14,000.
Yeah.
And we were looking at a tiny house trailer with the same floor size, or maybe actually even less, for $18,000, and that's just the trailer. Like,
not to mention the car that we would need to tow it,
Exactly.
plus all of like the outside and the roofing and everything.
yeah, plus, there was just a lot of work and finances that would have been committed to that.
Yeah.
And so when we decided on the bus, it was home first, and then it was kind of like a bonus that we'd be able to travel around with it. But like the mobility of the bus itself and like the safety of it, traveling as a home really opens doors for us. So we're really excited about that. And now that I've driven it halfway down the countryside, and then we're going to build our home in it, I'm actually getting really excited about the idea that we're going to have a motorhome, and we'll be able to go anywhere in Australia and check out people's properties and do that kind of stuff.
It was so crazy watching like the bus and Sam driving out in front, and as you head into Bega Valley from like further north from us, the scenery is just stunning. There's mountains, there's forests, it's just beautiful, and I could just picture like us around Australia and all the different things we'll be able to see. And yeah, it was surreal. I had this massive grin and I almost started crying while driving my car. I'm like, keep it together. It's okay.
I was just in the moment. I was all business. It didn't hit me until I parked it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about the mechanics? No, not really. I have spent a considerable amount of time in my life getting to know the basics of combustion engines. Mm-hmm. And so now, like, I've recently just changed out the radiator in my car and the a bunch of different parts, and that's been something I've been working on. So this is like the next thing for me. I had a motorcycle, and I made a rule where I was just going to be the person working on it, and then once a year I'll give it to a mechanic to make sure that it was safe, because it was a motorcycle. I didn't want to. And but I was doing all the work on it, and so I'm kind of looking forward to it. So, and it's going to be a really cool experience to have and share with my dad, because he's excited to come up and check it out. And so once we've built out the interior, because it is a home first, once we build out the interior, then we're going to start working on the engine. And yeah, so it's really exciting.
Please press the like button. I love that. See, I'm terrible at reminding people to do things like that, and I know that it's important. So sometimes I like force myself, and then it sounds so unnatural. So thank you, Penny. Lynn and Wayne as well. I hope the flooding's been going down around you guys. Hope you're keeping well through that as well.
Yeah. Anyone affected by any of the
flooding at the moment.
Yeah.
It's crazy just how often the floods have hit Australia, like these last few months. The rains have felt like they've been non-stop through summer, through autumn, and now even into winter time. It's still affecting quite a lot of locations. So it's really feeling for you guys.
Yeah, but
it's devastating to see.
Yeah, it is devastating. But on topic with that as well, it's also really difficult to do some of the things that everybody loves doing. Like our friend Robin is unable to do anything at the moment because her backyard's pretty much just like a swamp. Yeah. So
we know how that feels. I mean, we know it in a really like small, tiny sense of like wet grounds and driveways that have some water, but seeing what's been going on further north from us it's been devastating with the bushfires, with the floods. I wish that's the thing with Australia though, we really do live in a very hostile environment. Like the land is constantly against us. It almost feels like
very extreme. Is the engine or your bus diesel 2-stroke? I will include all the details of the engine and all those stuff in a video. There'll be a moment where I break it down, but it's a Cummins, and I don't have the actual model right in front of me. But we'll it's not a 2-stroke. It's a
different stroke. All right, let's move on. We can always come back over to the bus.
Before we move on, there is also some juice. There's more juice. Oof. So we had an incident with me where I nearly crashed the bus, and that was like one level of painful.
Yeah.
But there was also an incident with Diane on the way home as well. That's some juice.
What did I do? Oh, yeah, okay. So I haven't been able to find my wallet for a while, but Sam sent me on a mission to get us some dinner on our way home. So it was like 5:30 when we last talked.
I'm driving the bus at this point, yeah.
Yeah, we swapped our phones over for some reason as well. What?
I couldn't charge my phone in the bus.
Oh, and we needed to call each other and talk.
Yeah, so we swapped phones.
Oh, okay, so that I could charge his phone. Anyways, I ended up getting to the pub to get us some meals, and then I realized that not only did I not have my wallet, I also didn't have my phone, so then I couldn't pay for anything. And I was like, oh, that sucks. All right, doesn't matter. I'll use Sam's phone, and I'll figure something out. And then I realized Sam's phone isn't around. It's not in the car. It's not out of the car. And then I remembered that when I set up the last drone shot, which, by the way, we got some really cool drone shots of the bus. I can't wait for you to see it. But I had left Sam's phone up on the trailer outside and then drove off. So yeah, the next morning we ended up driving up to Narooma to see if we could find his phone, which is the last place we took a drone shot. We found his phone, guys.
Yeah.
It looked great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can totally use it.
Only a little bit of repair.
Yeah, not great. So we
both had an incident.
We actually had a lot of bad luck that day. Like,
did we?
Yeah, we had a lot of like stress and things go wrong Thursday and Friday. Like, I remember several times being like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See you later, Judith. Thank you so much for stopping by. Or is it Wayne and Lynn are going? Oh, it's so confusing.
Cool.
Trying to catch up with the comments.
Yeah, so we're like, we're really excited about what's happening with the bus, and we've already started doing things, and this is just going to be such an epic adventure.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
I'm so excited.
New animals.
New animals. So you guys have already met Ty. I might just pop off the comments for a moment. Oh, he's there. So
He's right here.
Yeah, he's too black. He's a little Batman. You can't see him. He blends into everything. Need to remember to get lighter dogs.
Don't talk about him like that way in front of him.
No, he's gorgeous. So he's super
offended.
duper sweet. Have we told you guys about his upbringing yet? I can't remember if we've touched on that. I think we may have.
No, he's just he's been bred for farming, and he's just a lovely dog that's not interested in chasing sheep around.
Yeah, he's so sweet. He's so cuddly. I keep telling everyone he's like Eris except calm.
Yeah.
So he's cuddly and he's sweet and he's involved and dependent, but calm. It's like a whole new world.
Yeah, it is really nice.
I keep going like, are you okay, buddy? Like, are you sick? What's happening? But we do have some other new animals as well.
Yep. Oh, well, there was a video about them.
But we can talk about them.
So we picked up 3 ewes. 2 are pregnant. We're pretty sure that 2 are pregnant.
Yeah.
And we also got a younger one as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was for the from the dairy down the hill. So there's a wild flock down there, and we got 3 ewes, and so they're kind of terrified of me. And like, you're going to see plenty of that, and what you've already seen as well of me chasing them through the paddocks, trying to get them to go where I want them to go, and having to be patient and calm. And you know, today was the first time that I was able to give them pellets and feed, and they were eating it before I left the pen. And which I've had to be lightning fast, because I'm trying to get them more nutrients because they're pregnant.
Yeah.
But I'm putting everything down, and the boys are just like knocking me over to eat it. And so I've got to put it on the ground and get out of there so that the girls have a chance to eat. Yeah. But now they've started eating. So like, that's all progressing really well forward. And I was a bit worried that they might always stay a little bit wary or wild, but they're starting to warm up to us. So
yeah, I was most nervous about the girls teaching the boys to get out. So that's been a bit of a scary thing, because they are so used to free ranging wherever they want. Like, I remember driving down that road several times and just seeing like all the sheep out on the road, and then as soon as you come close to them, they all like scurry back underneath the fences as though they weren't even there. So there was always the chance that we would bring them here and they would just piss off.
But that's going really well, and we've got a good number of sheep at the moment. So when they give birth, it'll be the new grass season too, which will be really nice. And like, hopefully, we get some more opportunities for more grazing as the flock expands, which we definitely have that opportunity around us. So
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
There's plenty of land here to lease if we need as well. So plenty of places to eat more grass for them as that flock expands, which is something that we'd really like to pursue further, whether it's for ourselves, whether it's to sell lambs and sheep to others, whether it's to produce as meat. We still haven't decided what that future will be for us because as you know, we have, what happened to the video, baby?
The camera died.
This happens every time. This happened last time.
Yep.
And we haven't learned. But I remember that you guys could still hear us.
Of course.
That's right. Sam's just going to get a new battery or something. So we'll just pause. If you guys haven't liked the video already, now is a really great time while there is a pause in the video. If you are feeling extra kind, you can leave a comment, let people know how amazing you think we are, or tell them how awful you think we are. It really doesn't matter. Hopefully they're nice comments though, so then we don't feel so terrible. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, cool.
That's so embarrassing. We need to write that down somewhere so that next month's live, we're not cutting out halfway.
This is a problem that will, oh, come on. Come on. Little puppy. This is something that will be solved soon because we're going to get a power cord for the camera, which is something we don't have. We just have to swap the batteries out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just us seeing if you guys are still there, if you're actually paying attention to us, or if you've fallen asleep on your own couch.
Yes, we are using a DSLR for the webcam. Yeah.
What will you do with your cars? That's a great question. And not only with our cars, but with our sheep and our chickens and all the belongings we don't take. There's still a bit of planning to do as far as that goes. But we're kind of hoping there'll be an opportunity where maybe someone takes over this property that's in our family or friends. Otherwise, we may park it with some neighbors and have them do us a favor. Yeah,
we haven't decided that far yet. Like, I mean, my truck has uses for like camping and it's useful as a farm vehicle as well. So, yeah, it really depends on, like right now we need 2 cars just because Di has to leave to go to work consistently and I still need to be able to transport to get around.
Yeah.
Even if like for purely homestead related stuff. So, yeah, there might be a period of time where we just run with 1 vehicle. Like if we decide to travel in the bus, for example, sell one, keep the other one somewhere, and then, yeah.
The intention with the bus as well is to potentially get some electric bikes because we'll still need vehicles to get ourselves like into town and around, but taking a whole car with us might be a bit cumbersome, so it might be something we leave behind. And yes, we are using our vlogging camera, so our DSLR, for the webcam. Unfortunately, StreamYard only lets you stream at like 720,
yeah.
720.
It's just low. It's just a little low quality.
Yeah, but still, it's a lot better than the webcam would be, and it allows us to kind of. We have you guys all up on the big screen, so we can read your comments on our TV and all that good stuff. Going minimal with your things.
Absolutely. Every time we move.
Good questions tonight.
Absolutely.
This is fun.
Every time we make a move, we end up downsizing. So we were in a share house, and so we were always in 4-bedroom houses, and we had the primary, like we were the primary tenants. So we had all the furniture and the fridge and all that kind of stuff. So then when we moved to our own place a bit further out and decided to, be a couple living in a home, we had a full house worth of stuff. We had a spare bedroom, but then we moved up here, and moving state, we were like, all right, we're just getting ruthless, and we
well, I mean, look, put your hand up if you've moved houses more than just a couple of times. You probably know what it feels like. Every time you move, you get lazier and lazier with packing your things. You end up just leaving everything in the drawers by like the 5th or 6th move and just taking it like that. Just chucking it in boxes, not even wrapping it up. Like that period of time where Sam and I moved up to New South Wales, I moved house 3 times almost. Like I moved to my sister's house, then we moved the furniture to Sam's house, and then I moved up again. So it's just the more times you move, the less you bring with you.
Yeah, well, I've moved 35 times in my life. I'm
Yeah,
31 years of age, so like that's a pretty rough average.
You can tell that we're going to suit this bus life pretty well.
Absolutely.
We're made to travel.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say, when we got up here, we moved into a 2-bedroom flat, essentially. That's what we've got here. So that was a big downsize, and now we're moving into a bus. So we just did a list of the highest priority stuff, and then there are certain things that just aren't really going to come. But everything that we've invested in the last 5 years or so, we knew we were going to move into a yurt or a tiny house. So, for example, we didn't get the largest TV. You always want a bigger TV, but we were like, what's actually going to be practical in a small space? And then we got that TV. So it's still going to be huge, unreasonable, but yeah.
Yeah. But we're still going to cut down a lot of things. We're actually thinking of cutting some things in our kitchen a lot sooner than when we move into the bus, just because we're finding that the more stuff you have in the kitchen, the more you have to clean, because we're terrible. We just keep pulling things out and then not washing them and then pulling more things out, and it just piles up. So the less things we have, I think the less dishes we'll have to deal with, or that's my theory anyway. So,
well, we actually went with that when we were in a share house, and it worked out pretty well, but we need to go back to that, because now we start off with a couple of things, and then more stuff comes out when you have guests come around, and then they just stay out, and it's just like, hey,
Hey, Steve and Annette, how are you?
Hey,
long time no see.
So, as I said earlier,
I'm my sister Ina.
Yeah, we started AutoCADing the layout for the bus, and I kind of came in late. And Di's like, oh, cool, we've all nearly got our double shower into the plan. And I'm just like, what do you double shower? What do you mean?
Priorities, guys. We've got dogs. Got to shower them all at the same time, right?
We'll be showering the dogs outside, I reckon.
And yes, I do plan on doing some videos about minimizing our things. I did start to already do this when I did live with my sister in the suburbs, because I actually culled like more than half of my clothes, because I was anticipating that we would come up to New South Wales and be able to buy land straight away.
Yeah.
Foolish girl I was.
Well, back then that was the situation. But all right, we're 8:45. We should get
back to your animals. I love it.
Yeah, back to the animals. It's fair. We were meant to be talking about animals, but the bees are going really good, and they're buzzing around. We've got lots of different flora around that's flowering through winter.
All the natives, our wattles, our hikea, they're all bountiful in flowers and pollen.
If you guys aren't aware, there is a veroa mite outbreak in New South Wales at the moment, and just like
So what is the veroa mite? So they're like these little red mites. Sorry, on the bee. I'm so controlled.
Ask me a question and then just start answering it.
It was a rhetorical question.
Okay. All right, mate. All right.
You got it.
No, you're the bee professional.
So the mites are little and red. You can see them without like a magnifying glass, so you can see them, but they are quite small. I would say that they're like the size of a flea. And they spread because of the drone bees. So if you're unaware of bee anatomy, most of the bees in a hive are female. Go girls. But there are some male bees in there, and they're called drone bees, and their only purpose in life is to fly out of the hive into different hives, mate with queens, and then come back and they just kind of fan the honey and help to cool things down in there. But their main job is to go and fly to other hives, to other queens, and to mate. And so that's how the veroa mite is actually spreading between the bees. I actually found this out recently from looking into it. So during winter time, most of our hives are pretty quiet. Most of the bees usually huddle up, keep each other warm. But there's been a few warm days lately, and even my bees have been really active. So as soon as there's warm days and there's pollen again, it means they're moving around and it's more likely to spread.
Yep.
The veroa mite, though, was first detected in Newcastle.
Yeah, it was detected on a commercial honey farm initially, And then when that was reported, they found them immediately in the sacrificial hives around the port.
Yeah.
So this is the mite that's destroying bees all over the world, guys. And Australia is the last continent to not have them.
Yeah.
Not have that mite. So it's really the last safe haven. So it's scary that it's coming here. It's kind of inevitable, but like you just don't want to see it.
So it's only affecting honeybees, so it doesn't affect our native bees, but it is affecting the honeybee populations. And so far it is still in that Sydney area, Newcastle area. It has travelled a little inland, but not right in. It's still like on that edge of New South Wales. I'll have to pull up
it hasn't got any worse. They did get one detection around there, but
yeah.
And
it seems to really be affecting more so the commercial beekeepers that have a lot of hives to maintain and look after. So there's a few ways to find out if you have the mite. You can do a sugar shake, you can do an alcohol wipe to find out. And there's heaps of information online at the moment on how you can do that. But so far the threat hasn't come down our way. So we're still being vigilant. I'm still watching them to see any signs of anything wrong. But so far our bees are happy, healthy, and absolutely thriving. I'm considering putting more boxes on top of them soon because they're just buzzing around, getting pollen. Wow. Yeah, they're insane.
Animals, again, we're in the next month, we're looking to get more chooks. So we've got a good friend of ours who also was our pig breeder for the first run of pigs. Mm-hmm. Sadly, she's moving to Queensland. Because we were like...
Not sad for you guys up in Queensland, though. She's a great person to have in the community.
Absolutely, like a really strong asset to the community.
She's just lovely.
But it's sad for us because, like, you know, we got our pigs from her. They were really, like, same mindset as us. And, but we're going to inherit their chooks, I believe. Yeah. So that's going to...
That's 7 new chooks. So a few of them are I think they're called Araucana or Americana, or I'm probably saying it wrong, but they lay Easter eggers. What am I? I'm thinking of pigeons breed, like I'm way off. Easter eggers. So they're going to have some different colored eggs, whether it be green, blue, or like potentially a pink. So super excited for that. Yeah. A bit nicer news than the bees are going through. It's been devastating for them.
What is it like with the chickens? I wish, but I don't have the right space for them. Well, the amazing thing about chooks, though, is that you can be really creative about the kind of space that you give them.
Thank you, Steve.
As long as they've got something to do or enough space, you can really put them anywhere. Like we put them in a very small backyard, and we used the exact system we've got now in that backyard. Mm-hmm. And we just had an appropriate amount of chooks for that space. And that was just the temporary fencing. And then when they bombed that spot and they'd really wrecked it, I'd moved them to the next spot. Yeah. And by the time I got around 4 spots, the grass had regrown in the first spot. Yeah. So that was really...
that was the way we did it.
Yeah.
But you can do it another way, which is more popular. A lot more people in the suburbs especially do it, where they have the chickens in just an area on deep bedding. So similar to what we're planning to do with our pigs this season.
Well, that's the most important thing. That's actually something that I would say is not really done, that people just put their chooks and they fence off the area and then it's just bare ground below them. You definitely want to be adding carbon to that because it's just a missed opportunity otherwise.
Free compost. And you can usually make a deal with chip drop companies and those that are cutting down trees and then mulching them so that you have a constant supply of wood chips and mulch for your chickens, and then you can make it work really well for you. Yeah. They can free range. It really does depend though if you have any pest pressure, which actually I did have I'm terrible with names, guys, but on Buy Me a Coffee, I did have a beautiful couple, the Palmers. I remember their last name. I don't remember your first names, and I'm so sorry. But they asked, what do we do about clipping our chickens' wings? And also, how do we keep them inside the fence? So if you've watched our last few videos, then you know of our lovely chicken Pigeon. Pigeon is one of those chickens that doesn't like to be contained, and it doesn't matter how many times you clip her wings,
Yep.
how many times you break her eggs in their nesting spots that they make around the property, they're still going to try to get out. So
she's not in the coop tonight. Like, she just randomly decides to not be in the coop. She's like, I'll have to do a visual video on clipping wings because it's just going to be way easier to explain that way. But essentially, halfway down the wing of the chook, there's kind of like a line, and it's where like the
small feathers meet the big ones.
Yeah, kind of like the small feathers that are actually attached to the wing, kind of like stop, and then you've got all the actual like flying feathers way out on the wing side, and you just want to cut the feathers off at that line, pretty much. But you only want to do it on one wing. The reason for that is because when the chook tries to flap to take off, it's got all its buoyancy on one side and not the other, and it will throw it off, and it will be like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore because I didn't get the result I wanted. Whereas if you clip both wings, they actually still have enough buoyancy to, like, if they got up onto something and ran and jumped, they would still glide like they do.
You guys should have seen Pigeon today. She literally, I opened the chicken coop, they all came out, and then this pigeon, literally, she's a pigeon. She just like ran up to the fence and just hopped over and ran off. And I'm like, what the hell? It hasn't even stayed for a moment. So for chickens that can't stay in, all right, for chickens like Pigeon that just do not want to stay in and
I clipped the wings. I clipped the wings and everything, like.
All right, but another thing that you can do is you can actually lock up your chickens inside their coop. So if you've got a mobile one like ours, you lock them inside the coop for at least 24 hours so that they get used to that being a safe place. That's their home. That's got everything they need. And that should hopefully encourage them to stay there as well. Another thing you can do is, for someone like Pigeon, she's clearly jumping out because first thing in the morning, she wants to lay an egg and she's made herself a new nest. So Pigeon made a nest like in the grass, the long grass at the front of the property. And so I found her there, and I found her collection of rent that she hasn't been paying. And so you collect all the eggs, but you crush one of the eggs to show her that that's not a safe place to lay anymore, and that hopefully will encourage her to come back. Yeah,
but you do have to maintain the coop to make sure it's a nice laying situation for them.
We need to modify our coop so that currently our chickens like sleep in the nesting boxes, which is like a big no-no because they just poop in there, and then none of them want to lay there. So that's just been a constant. Oh, Julian and Steve, congratulations on a baby calf coming on Friday. I hope you capture it on video. That would be just adorable. We had. Awesome. So did you capture it on video? It must be so hard. Why did you name her Pigeon? We named her Pigeon because she literally looked like a pigeon when we first got her. She looks like a dove. We've got a local dove that had literally the same colors as her, and she just does her own thing. She doesn't act like a normal chicken. This is a really great question.
Yeah.
Gardening for health and well-being. Welcome. Would you ever venture into other birds like geese, ducks, or even get goats to clear brush? And all that other good stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. We really do want ducks, especially after this season with the
ducks.
Slugs. We really do, but like we are on a rental, we are on a very slopey hill, and so ducks are one of those things where like they can be pretty destructive if they're kept in one spot. And they can start to smell, but we do really want to do them. So it's going to be like we need a place that we're comfortably dumping their water, so we're not just constantly wasting it, because ducks need fresh water every day to clean their beaks. That's how they work. They roam around, stick their beak into the ground, and then it gets dirty. They go clean their beak, come back, and that's how they're feeding all the time. So these are just kind of goals that we have. So at the moment, we're trying to expand the sheep and the chooks to maximize the efficiency and the gain that we get out of the system. And then once that's rolling at a comfortable pace, then we can move on to other things. We're on a rental and we are right next to bushland, and we're not really interested in clearing the established bushland because we love it and we want native environments to thrive alongside us as homesteaders and not just constantly try and claim back.
But also goats give me the heebie-jeebies. I wish they didn't, but those eyes. Sean, our ram, has those eyes, and I can't look him straight in the face. Like, it's too much. That's as simple as it is.
What I was going to say, though, is that I really want to get goats. And we do actually have a lot of brush down the hill that is constantly growing. So we do have a lot of feed potential to get a goat, to get a couple of goats. And so it'd be really cool to get them in to do that work for us for protection from bushfires. And then, we can explore ideas of expanding pasture, all that kind of stuff. But at the moment, there's so much pasture on this hill that
they're creepy.
They're creepy. Yeah. Devil eyes.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's a lot of grass on this hill that's just not being eaten right now. And because there's a lot of people that are living here that aren't farmers or just like having the space and have really other priorities, and there's opportunities for us to go and graze that grass. So I would do that before I started clearing bushland. However, safety wise for fire, that is definitely an angle we would go down. Yes, I know it makes a great curry.
13 calves and you haven't seen one. That's how I feel will happen with our lambs, our sheep babies.
Yeah,
I feel like we're not going to catch them.
Yeah, there's not enough grass around the house. But I mean, if they give birth in spring, we'll see it because we'll have them rotating down here a bit more often.
Yeah, I was so impressed. Adam and Nettie from Silhouette Farm, they actually caught. I am so surprised that I remember those names. I was go me. Little pat on the back, but they captured their baby lamb being born just the other day, which was adorable. That was me just hoping that we will catch something similar too. Yeah. How did you know your pigs were ready to be killed for food? I'm still making my way through your old videos.
Oh, cool.
Catching up. There's so many now.
That's awesome.
It's been quite a journey.
We got the opinion of the butcher that did slaughter them for us.
Yeah, we have a mobile butcher that literally just lives down the road from us.
Yeah, and he works with everyone in the area. But then we defied him because he was like, they were at a particular size, and he was like, we should do them now in the next 2 weeks. And we were like, what?
We weren't ready. It was only 2 months into having them. They were only like 4 months old.
Yeah, and he explained to us that the age that they were at was like perfect for steaks and like for
pork chops.
Yeah, pork chops, like that kind of stuff.
And I know you like those.
Yeah, and we were just like, they were a third of the size, or maybe half the size they eventually got to, but they definitely, like when we slaughtered them, they were well above the kind of ideal size, even for the large pig. So we're actually dealing with a lot of fat on most of our cuts.
Yeah.
Which we've just accepted that we are like kind of getting rid of.
And we've been really good. We did render down a lot of the fat into lard. I've also been, from our roasts, I've been cutting off like a layer of the fat and cubing it up into like little cubes that I then use to cook with or to put into the dog food that I make. So yeah, it's definitely not going to waste. It's just a bit of a shame because it does change the flavor of the meat because you've got more fat to meat ratio.
Yeah, so, bacon and stuff like that. Like when I go to the shops and I see the bacon that's in there, like, and it's been bred specifically for bacon, like that makes me sad. But there's definitely improvement on our end to get our bacon a good consistency.
But it's pretty normal. I've heard from a lot of homesteaders, people in the community, and just like from the butcher, that for your first round of pigs, it's really normal to overfeed them, overlove them. A lot of people make the mistake of feeding them bread, which usually bakeries will give you as like, you know, they throw it away and so you pick it up from them. And that's the number one thing that makes a pig fat, because they should have more protein than anything else. And so the carbs, just like humans, put on the carbs. So, yeah.
Will we get more pigs? Absolutely.
So it is almost the 1 hour mark. So we're going to start talking now about the springtime and the things we've got planned for that. And pigs are definitely on the list.
Yeah. So our goals in the immediate future is to expand the chook block, which is already in motion. We're also going to be ordering pigs, and we're also going to be doing meat chooks again.
Yes, I really enjoyed doing the meat chickens. I know that there's a lot of us that have different views and opinions about raising meat chickens compared to heritage birds, compared to not raising meat at all. But we do really enjoy the flavor of a meat chicken because it resembles what it is at the store. We know that we're giving it a really good life, and it's important to us that the food that we're producing for ourselves satisfies us. And at least for the near future, we've already made this huge step, in our opinion, to be raising our own meat and making that sacrifice of not only time, but then also going through the killing process, and which is brutal. I mean, let's be honest, we're human and we do care and love these animals, but we know at the end of the day that it's nourishing us and it's really important for us. So we're going to do the meat chickens again this year. I really enjoyed them last year. Like, I had so much fun. I had a huge smile on my face each day. I think we're going to do it a lot bigger this season, though. We've already told you guys that we want to run a couple of workshops as well on the property. I think it's just going to be a really cool chance now that COVID has settled down to get people over here, run some workshops, get our knowledge up, get some conversations
see everybody in person. Anybody willing to come.
Yes.
Yeah, the last time we had just friends, people that we knew in real life coming to be a part of it. And that was just a really, it made the experience. Yeah. And I think like doing it as a workshop is going to be really valuable as well, because we now can confidently say that we can raise a chook all the way from chick, all the way down to a broken down
all the way
portions.
from egg.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well,
that's true.
I mean, we don't portion, but yeah. As far as our plants and our gardens go, so I've been planting slowly more native plants into the food forest, and I plan to do more ground covers. I'm waiting for the weather to warm up a bit because our natives do a lot better in drier, hotter climates. So that's been on pause for a while. We have started to also expand the orchard up the top. We're actually going to turn into a European food forest. I don't know what else to call it other than a European food forest, but that will have all of the trees that we're used to. So like your apple trees, peaches, plums, cherries, things like strawberries, sweet potatoes, blueberries, raspberries, all the things. So it'll be a food forest with everything we're used to. So stick around for that. That's going to be a big job coming up as well.
And then we're going to be working on the bus. Like it's going to be busy. It's going to be really busy, but it's going to be really good. So like just reflecting on the last month since our last live, it's been just flat out, like between the bus, getting new sheep, getting the puppy, like, and Diane was coming to the end of her term as well. So like, it was just kind of everything came together all at once. And now it's like, this is the first day that we get to like sit on the couch, have a casual stress-free live and just say like, cool, now we can just kind of stay at home and just work through things because we've already got all the balls rolling. And it's just like, we really feel like we're at the start of that, like we're in the middle of winter now and it's about to click over. We're about to go into spring, and the event, this next year of seasons is going to just perpetually roll out in front of us. And And as far as a greenhouse goes, Sam has been wanting to build me a greenhouse. I'm terrible at starting seedlings. I keep trying, and I do have a few seedlings out the front. It doesn't get cold enough here that I feel that it needs a greenhouse. I know that would make things happen a lot faster, but I honestly neglect plants. So if they're in a greenhouse, I will just end up forgetting about them. Ideally, I should probably set up like a drip irrigation system in a greenhouse or something, and that might be something we work towards. But yeah, it's going to be
a massive springtime coming up, even the last month of winter.
Well, just on that subject before we move on to something else,
Yeah.
like that's also going to be a matter of me getting involved. Like as Diane said, I'm the one that wants to like get the greenhouse in, and I keep being like, oh, you know, like put a greenhouse on the list. I can build a greenhouse because I'm the builder. So like, and as Diane said, that's why we're not doing that. But I can definitely see value in adding a greenhouse into our situation. But it's just going to be when the when our plate has cleared up enough so that I can say, cool, well, I'm going to take a certain amount of responsibility for the greenhouse and keeping things going, so that, you know, because that would be kind of cool if I was able to set us up an easy, convenient way to propagate plants, and then Diane can just, like, she can kind of forget about them and spend all her energy in the garden, and we can just have those things automated.
Yeah.
But these are goals that we got to work towards. Like, we are, you know, we're only a year into homesteading, and like we look back on the most recent video, which was a flashback of like the last year or two, and like we've done so much already. And like every time we start a project or like build a garden or get a new animal, I've got these visions in my mind, and we are just actualizing them slowly. And
yeah. So we are going to wrap things up, guys. It's been a really good chat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all your support, all your love, always being here to chat, to ask questions. It's just a really nice thing doing this once a month, and it's thanks to you guys for suggesting it that we're doing it. So I know there's a few questions we didn't quite get to, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them in the videos. And then next month when we all catch up again, we'll see what we've been able to actually actualize and achieve, and what we'll still continue working towards. Hopefully the bus will be within the next 2 years that we finish it. Not quite sure. We haven't set a strict time on how long we plan on building it for. We're not rushing. We're enjoying the journey. So yeah, we'll just stick around and we'll see.
It really just, we're just going to have to see the distribution of time that we have. Because, I mean, ideally in my head, it's like, oh, well, I'll get all the chores done and homesteading stuff done in the morning, and then I'll work on the bus in the afternoon. And it's like, it's easy to say that now, but we don't know how long it's going to take to order stuff in, all that kind of stuff. And I've seen the shortest I've seen someone build the bus is 6 months, and the longest I've seen is 18 to 24. So, we'll just see how we go.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much, guys. If you haven't given the video a like, please just take a moment to do that. It really does help. And a lot of you guys are YouTubers yourselves, so you know that. And we will see you again very soon. See you later.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone. Or good morning if you're somewhere else.